about it flying around Paducah. And I said, they used to pay me to fly it. I ain't paying them. I ain't paying them. He said, no, I'll pay it. I'll pay it for you. I said, no. I went on home and I sat on the front porch. And all of a sudden I hear this roar. And I said, that's a 17. I looked up and sure enough, it wasn't much more than treetop level, right over the top of my house.
Oh, wow.
He was circling to go back to the airport.
Go! Halt! Reset! Off! Hold on. Colors. Post. Colors. Colors turn. March.
A warm welcome to everyone who has traveled near and far to take the time away from their busy lives to be with us here today at the Memorial Gardens of the National Museum of the United States Air Force. A special welcome to the veterans of the 95th Bomb Group, whose courage and sacrifice make our freedoms that we enjoy today possible. And greetings to the families of the 95th Bomb Group veterans. Your presence is an inspiration to us all. And not to be excluded, a sincere, heartfelt welcome to our dear friends of the 95th, both here and abroad, that have become extended family from all over the United States, the United Kingdom, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Your dedication and support ensures that the legacy of the 95th Bomb Group shall endure. I charge each of you with passing on the histories of these men to your children so that their story shall not be forgotten. For all gave some, but some gave all, which is why we gather here today. We gather to honor the memories of those that have made the ultimate sacrifice on this day in 1945. Our story begins at the end of the Second World War, that is. It's late April 1945. The U.S. Army's 69th Infantry Division linked up with Soviet forces at the small town of Torgau, Germany, on the Elbe River, just south of Berlin. This completed the encirclement of the German capital. Largely destroyed by bombing, Berlin was in chaos, and coincidentally, it was the 95th Bomb Group who first bombed Berlin in daylight. The city was now being defended by ragtag elements of the Wehrmacht, the German armed forces. Old men, some of them in their 70s, and boys ranging in age from only 12 to 15 years of age comprised the Volkssturm. This was units formed by the SS to defend Berlin as the Soviets entered the city. These two groups were tasked with going up against hardened combat veterans of the Red Army, for which there was no chance of success whatsoever. Seeing his 1,000-year Reich disintegrate around him, Adolf Hitler took his own life on 30 April. The war lingered on for about another week until about 0200 hours, that'd be 2 o'clock a.m. local time on 7 May. The Wehrmacht High Command surrendered to the Western Allies in the small French town of Reims. You would think the war is over and everybody gets to go home, right? Wrong. The Wehrmacht had previously blown the dikes which hold back the North Sea from the Dutch farmland. This was done presumably to deny terrain to the advancing Allies. To make matters worse, the Wehrmacht had been in the regular practice of confiscating food and livestock to feed its own troops, thereby causing the inevitable starvation of the people of the Netherlands. The 8th United States Air Force began conducting food drop missions known as Chowhound, starting in late April 1945. The 8th Air Force had conducted its last combat mission on 20 April. It was on this day, 13 years ago, that B-17 serial number 48640 departed its base at Horham, England, for one such mission. With a crew of 8 and 5 from the base photo section, they lifted off from Horham for Utrecht, the Netherlands. No bombs, no guns, just food. Flying low level, as the food parcels had no parachutes, you can imagine the excitement from observers on the ground, as well as could be expected from those on board the aircraft. Anyone who has been under a B-17 at takeoff or landing can understand what I mean. The drop was a success, but on the return to England, the pilot, First Lieutenant Lionel Skurman, selected a course that placed them within range of anti-aircraft guns defending the German Navy E-boat base at the port city of IJmuiden, which lies at the mouth of the North Sea shipping canal that serves Amsterdam. The crew and the passengers were in a good mood and had been singing Deep in the Heart of Texas. And though not discovered immediately, it was noticed that the number 2 engine was running rough and lost oil pressure. It was believed that a 20mm anti-aircraft round being fired from IJmuiden had struck the number 2 engine, either rupturing or dislodging the oil line, causing a fire. The plane had been flying at about 1,000 feet but climbed to 1,500 feet to get above some fog that had been lying on the surface of the North Sea. Various emergency procedures were initiated, one of which was to put the plane into a controlled dive to try and blow out the fire, in much the same way you blow out a candle, going much larger. All attempts to extinguish the blaze failed. Lieutenant Skurman ordered the crew to bail out at 500 feet. While preparing to attempt a controlled crash landing onto the sea, an explosion around the number 2 engine on the left wing caused the wing to dip, striking the water and causing the aircraft to cartwheel and sink rapidly. Of the 13 men on board, there were just 2 survivors. 6 were listed as missing and presumed drowned with the wreckage of the aircraft, and the bodies of the 5 remaining men subsequently recovered. As you can see today, we've inserted flags above the bricks of those that lost their lives on this mission. This morning, we remember the names of the fallen, beginning with the crew.
Pilot, First Lieutenant Lionel N. Skirman. Navigator, First Lieutenant Russell H. Cook. Radio Operator, Staff Sergeant Dano H. McPherson. Ball Turret Gunner, Staff Sergeant John J. Keller. Waist Gunner, Sergeant Norbert I. Cooper. Tail Gunner, Staff Sergeant William R. Langford.
And from the base photo section, Staff Sergeant Edward H. Buboltz, Staff Sergeant Robert W. Korber, Staff Sergeant Gerald Lane, Sergeant Joseph R. Rapiskak, and PFC George L. Waltari. As a footnote, it was Sergeant Korber who was a member of the Contrail staff. He was a leading figure in publishing the first Contrails book, and he was lost on this mission. So it was a significant loss in the 95th, not just to the crew, but of a talented member of the Contrail staff. Please let us take a moment of silence to remember and reflect. Thank you. It should be noted that out of 2,210 Chowhound missions, this one was the only aircraft that failed to return. Previously, B-17G 48640 had flown 54 combat missions. The 2 survivors on this mission were the co-pilot, First Lieutenant James R. Schwartz, and toggler Staff Sergeant David Condon. I'd now like to read a short poem that was written by Francis Hapner, the man who was the architect for the memorial that we are at today. You can't explain the combat game. We learn to live with cloudy days and lonely nights, the bitter cold and darkened lights, the constant danger from flak and fighters. But we were never ready for that dreaded day when sudden death took you away. You were gone, in your memory we carried on. Fate had spared us for another day. Rest in peace, brave young warriors. Your valiant efforts were not in vain. Your gift to freedom will not be forgotten, nor will be your name.
As we gather here this day, once again recalling the brave lives lost in service to our country and its cause, we remember that God's love is with us. Together, we recite the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul, and guides me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We will remember them. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we will remember them. In the opening bud and in the rebirth of spring, we will remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we will remember them. In the rust of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember them. For as long as we live, they too shall live. For they are now a part of us as we remember them. Our annual service concludes with the traditional threefold blessing. May the Lord bless us and keep us. May the Lord cause his countenance to shine upon us. May the Lord give peace to us in our own lives and to the whole world. Amen.
Thank you, Nina. Now, would everyone who is able please stand for the retirement of the colors?
Colors. Halt. Reset. Off. Hold. Arms. Colors. Halt. Colors. Colors turn. Huh?